So we were actually traveling from San Antonio to Springfield, Missouri to play the Springfield Cardinals, which for me, I mean, I always heard about, I lived St. Louis life, right? I lived Cardinal Nation. I bled the same Cardinal red as everybody else. But there was something, because of St. Louis's tradition, there was something special about Springfield that I always held in my head, because a lot of the prospects came out of Springfield. That's when you would start hearing about the prospects in Springfield, right? So it always I never went and watched a game, but it always had a special place because I kind of naturally, by how it was mentioned around me, I held it in a little higher regard than, say, Memphis. Don't know why, but it's just how it was. And so we were rolling into Springfield to play the Cardinals. Super excited. My family was coming. My wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, was actually in Arizona doing a residency program because she's a dentist. And she was coming back through. She was doing it in Flagstaff. Was coming back through, spending the night at my parents. Was going to drive with them from St. Louis to Springfield, catch that series, and then continue driving back to North Carolina, where she's from. Her parents, with all that going on, were actually set up to drive from North Carolina to Springfield to do the same skit, right? And so we had an off day, because you know how it is in minor leagues. You got 12-hour bus travel. They give you that off day to spend your entire off day sitting on a bus, crammed in with 30 guys that smell absolutely awful, eating fast food.
It's not an off day.
It's not. And it's harder than the games.
Yeah, it is.
And so I had wanted to go home to get a break, right? It's been a long year. And so Tim, Woozy, and I, because Woozy's got family in St. Louis, Todd Worrell pitched, his brother, long career, but they all live in St. Louis.
We know Todd Worrell.
Yeah, Todd and I know Todd really well as well.
He played with his dad.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense. You know the Worrells then. And so Woozy and I were both going to fly to St. Louis, and then I was going to spend my off day, which is not on a bus, but actually on a quick plane. So we had a game that night, and the next morning we had like a 9 a.m. flight out. And then we were going to drive down the next day to go to the game. So we'd show up around, 1 o'clock to the ballpark. We'd rolling together. He had a car, everything. Like, he had it all teed up.
Sure.
We were both doing the same thing. And I had thrown that, and I don't remember who he faced, but I don't know. I came in, punched a guy out or something, and I was actually staying in a hotel room at the Holiday Inn Express in San Antonio with a guy named Michael Broadway, who got a cup of coffee with the Giants for a little bit as a reliever, right-hander. And he's already in bed. I don't know why I got home so late, but he's already in bed. It's like 10:30, and Woozy calls me. He's like, hey, I got some bad news, man. I said, what's up? He's like, we can't get on that flight tomorrow. I was like, what? What hell? I was like, don't tell me they won't let us fly for the off day.
Coaches are so funny.
Because there's all those rules, right? Like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to travel. Okay, fine. They shut it down. He said, because you're going up. I literally said, I was like, shit, Woozy, I got to go AAA? He goes, no, you're going to Turner Field. You're going to the big leagues. It's like, Woozy, don't screw me right now. He's like, you're going to the big leagues. Congratulations.
Instant heart attack. Pain.
Yes, man. Like, to this day, it makes you want to choke up to this day, just like reliving those moments. And I'm like, yeah, the heart goes from 0 to 1,000,000. You're beating through your chest. You're like, dude, don't screw with me. And Gibbons was in the background. And of course, he's got my envision, he's got tobacco hanging on one side. He's like, Tommy, go get him, buddy. Right? Like, that's kind of how he was. And so I said, congratulations. And I had to come back to the field to pack up my stuff. And so I immediately hung up with him. And, coincidentally for me, my wife she wasn't my wife at the time, but she was at my house with my parents. My dad's early to sleep, early to rise. He was construction his whole life. So you go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock and be up at 4 a.m., right? So he was in bed. They were still planning to have me there that next day, and then the next day travel to Springfield. And so I called my girlfriend at the time. I was like, hey, we're not going to Springfield. So we're going to Turner Field. She's like, what's that?
What's that?
I said, I just got called up to the big leagues. You got to meet me in Atlanta. So she starts crying, right? Because, she'd been with me since I met her in 2008. I got drafted in 2007. So my first real spring training, she started experiencing that life right at the gate. So it kind of been
How did you guys meet?
Let me get through the baseball.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm almost there.
Maybe that's part 2.
Yeah. So she goes in and says, here, Thomas, talk to you. I told my mom, so they all sat around, cried, and woke my dad up, and then told her parents. So my family, her family, some of my brothers, my uncles, they all drove down overnight to get to Atlanta because I had to be there. And I ended up pitching the first day in. So I flew in, got in at the next day, got in at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
do your best.
Yeah, you know how that goes. Like, they release the guy when he gets to the park at the 3 o'clock bus, but then you're not allowed to be there till the second bus. Have you ever been a part of that?
Yes. Oh, yes.
They don't want you to cross paths, so they make sure you come on the late bus, and then he gets released in the first. It's a clunky deal, but it's part of the business. Yeah. And so I had to sit in that damn really nice 5-star hotel for hours, just like, I want to go to the ballpark. I want to go to the ballpark. I couldn't go because they had. Yep. And so the best part is, well, not the best part. This is the cool part. So I get on the bus, the late bus. Of course, that's when all the reporters come. That's when all the front office come, like people that aren't players. And it's like the starting picture. And that's it. And so I walk on the bus, and these people are looking at me like, who are you? They go, who are you? Hi, I'm Tom Layne. Are you supposed to be on this bus? Yes, I am. So immediately out the phones, they start, and I'm sitting there on the bus, and they're like, he's 0-10 with a 4.3 ERA. Why is he here? He must be a roster fit. Like, just going. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Hear you.
I mean, literally, we're sitting not even from here to the front of the table away. And it's just the media guys. And
Good day for them, yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, it's part of the deal. And so I get there, get suited up, meet some of the guys, and I was fortunate enough to meet Luke Gregerson. Took me under his wing a little bit. He had a little bit of clout, so he helped me quite a bit, and then I ended up getting in the first game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
I didn't have to deal with all that rigmarole the first time. I landed, got in LA traffic, sat in traffic for 2 hours, got to the ballpark in the 5th inning, got the rest, and then Don said, "Hey, Scott, you ready to pinch hit?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
sure, why not?
Said hi and went and got off the plane, got in the car, got dressed, got on the field.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
It made it easier. I didn't have to talk to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's no time for you to even get nervous about it.
Right.
And I think they do that on purpose. Like, they know, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the worst thing about being in the bullpen if you get called up and you're starting a game is you got, like, for me, I came in the 8th inning, we were down 6-4.
Gosh, I didn't even think about that. That should maybe they did think about that. I hope they did because it did make things easier. I would imagine they don't think about that, and it's just
100%.
However it is.
If they're not winning, I would 100%. I'd throw you in there.
Yeah.
Why not break that ice? I mean, break that off.
Yeah.
So, but I got in, and my debut was kind of, I got to say it, right? So, first guy facing the big leagues was Brian McCann. And I punched him out on 3. Right. The next guy I faced was Dan Ugla.
He could hit a lefty.
I punched him out. Third guy I faced was Tyler Pasternicki. You remember him? Mm-hmm. Fast, good hand-eye coordination. I punched him out. So I struck out the side on my major league debut. That's what my debut was.
Woo! That's
awesome. It was very cool. So that was it. That's my claim to fame.
Hey, thanks for watching this short with us today. And if you like it, check out our full episodes on our channel and website. We'll put those in the links below. And as always, Scott,
Like and subscribe, or subscribe and then like, whatever order you want, really.
whatever order you like.
Yeah.
Thanks.